Alright, so this is my 305. I'm about to get ready to paint it. And this is why the video is titled How Not to Paint It. Or How Not to Paint an Engine. It might be hard to tell, but this block has actually been sitting in the garage for probably 3 or 4 months. And I've been putting oil on the cylinders to keep them from rusting. And some of that oil kind of got on this area. And then it's even kind of rusty right here a little bit. Your best bet is to paint it as soon as you get it from the machine shop. I had actually gotten sick whenever I had it machined. It was probably 4 or 5 months ago. And I'd been putting oil on it, and then it got on the side, and then I didn't even want to deal with it. But that's all right. It's not the end of the world. I'm gonna use VHT engine enamel, and it doesn't say to use a primer. I know somebody in the comments is gonna say that I don't know what I'm doing because I'm not using a primer. Well, the video is titled How Not to Paint It. But people's been painting engines without using primer. They get engine paint and they spray them when they're clean. People's been doing it like that. More engines are painted like that than anything else. And it will hold up even if you don't use primer. The oil and the rust is what to worry about even more. You know, if you can't get paint to stick to this, I don't even want to touch it because it literally will leave grease spots and my hands are actually clean. And that's how like absorbent this is. It's like a sponge. But one thing I am going to do before I paint it, I have one of these wheels. I don't even know what it is, but it says to wear eye protection, so I got some of that. Out of all the stuff in my garage, this seems to be the best about being able to kind of go around the contours and actually clean out little stuff like that. So I'm going to go over it with this first, blow it off with air, and then mask it, and then paint it. I mean, it looks pretty clean. You can still see some rust on it, but this is not the time to become a perfectionist because it's already going to be a less than perfect job because I let it get a little rusty and greasy and stuff. And really, to get all the leftover grease, I use this, just brake cleaner. But I didn't want to get it in here, so I kind of just sprayed this area real carefully and used a rag to get closer to this. But yeah, so it's probably still a little bit oily, but like I'd rather it be a little bit oily than to have that stuff soak in here and make these leak. They do put this on with some kind of stuff that's like, I think it's called shellac, but it's some kind of like sticky sealant. And I'm not 100% sure if that's really going to do anything to it, but I don't want to find out, so I made sure I didn't get any on here. So yeah, that might compromise my paint job a little bit, but I'd rather the paint peel around here than for my motor to start leaking water. I'll say it again. That's why this is how not to paint an engine. That wheel actually didn't do that good. You can still see little rust all over it. So I'm going to start out by masking it like this. Alright, so that's how I have it done. I know I skipped forward. I have a timing cover on it. It's just an old timing cover and I only have like 2 bolts in it. I went ahead and put some old header bolts in here that way I don't get anything inside the threads. And the last part I'm going to do is mask this surface. Alright, so there's the front of the engine. I got this cover on there with just 4 bolts in it. And I don't want to get paint inside the engine. I also wanted to show that even though it's not a perfect setup, that the engine's still going to look pretty good when I'm done. This, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to spray directly in there. And those, if I have to, I'll just clean them out with the tap whenever I'm done. Anytime you paint or use stuff that has like fumes and chemicals, you should always use a respirator. I'm not going to be using it in this video because it's not a lot of painting. And then I'm also using that fan to move air away from it, you know, to blow the poison cloud away. The door's open behind the camera, the door's open right here. And I'm just going to spray real quick and get away from it. But yeah, if any of you guys out there paint an engine, make sure you wear a respirator. So the can says 2 light coats and a medium coat. There goes my first mistake. I forgot the fuel block-off plate. It'll be all right. I don't care if it gets on my truck. I'm going to paint my truck anyway this week. I just put the fan on to kind of blow it all out. See, there's lots of different angles where you see you don't cover it good. It's like kind of hard to do that in one shot or in one position. Alright, I'm going to step away from here because the paint fumes. It does say to do all your coats within an hour and wait about 10 minutes in between. So that's what I'm about to do. Alright, so it's been about 15 or 20 minutes. It said 10, but whatever. Oh, I ran a little bit. Oh well. Oh yeah, I was getting too much in the engine, so I went ahead and covered it. You know. Alright, time to step away from it again. Want to see something cool? Look at this. And I don't even work out. I'm a truck driver. I've been working out for 10 years. Anyway, I'm going to throw the last coat on there real quick. And then I'll let it dry for like 3 hours and then, you know, take the cover off and see what it does. See how it looks. You know, honestly, I haven't painted an engine in years and years. And maybe you could kind of learn from my mistakes, because I thought I had it masked enough, and it kind of was getting too much in here. It's not a huge deal as long as you don't get a whole lot. It's kind of oil inside it. It's kind of oily inside, so it's just going to rub off, and you could make sure you clean that kind of stuff out. And I sprayed a little bit on the tops of the inside of the cylinder. That's why I went ahead and put this over it. I thought I could get away with what I had, but maybe if you're careful enough. But anyway, just even I'm learning from the mistakes I'm making right now. I'm actually unemployed right now, so it's hard for me to spend money on stuff until I find another job. So I'm going to be around the garage doing a lot of this stuff that doesn't really cost money, because there's a lot of unfinished products that there's a lot of stuff that I already have the materials for, like a lot of projects that are unfinished that won't cost me any money at the moment, so I'm going to have to jump around and do a lot of that. I've been wanting to get into painting and restoring cars, and so one of my next videos is I have me a 40-pound bag of glass beads, 40-pound bag of abrasive slag. It's black diamond. You could get this stuff pretty cheap at Northern Tools. I forgot, but it's like it's probably $20, $14 a bag. And I also have some play sand. Spoiler alert, the play sand sucks really bad. Anybody that gives you the advice to just use this whenever you have a siphon fed gun, it's bad advice. It really sucks for this kind of stuff. I think it holds moisture, it clumps up, and this gun is not gonna, it's just not gonna like it. But yeah, you could use it. If you don't believe me, I'll prove it in the near future whenever I do a video on probably. I don't know what I'm gonna do the videos on, but it's gonna be something like probably sandblast the intake manifold and paint it, or maybe a barbecue pit, or whatever I could find that I want to clean up. Timing cover, I don't know, but I'll prove what I'm talking about. That sand sucks. Alright, so this is how it came out. Not too bad if you ask me. This is why I went ahead and masked it better. I did get a little bit of spray in here. Got some right there. That's really not that big of a deal. I'll just Scotch-Brite that off, or maybe steel wood off. But you got to be careful with this surface. The back looks better than the front. It actually looks all right. Yeah, see where I sprayed in there? I'll just steel wool that. It really doesn't look too bad. Alright, so what did we learn here today? You see now I had it masked at first, that wasn't good enough. Also, don't get too caught up in what other people do sometimes. Like, some people get way OCD and do overboard stuff, which probably will make a better end result than this. But it looks fine. I think it looks alright. And as far as how much it's going to hold up, yeah, it was kind of bad that I let it get a little bit oily, then I had to clean it. And then the little bit of rust on there. But if you could brush over it with this and it doesn't knock the rust off, then it's not like you're painting on something that's just going to flake off. Even though it's not good to paint on rust. I mean, it was just a little bit. It's a rough texture anyway, so it's not likely to peel or anything, but we'll see. Yeah, I think the most important part is just try not to get any paint inside the cylinders and inside the oil the lifter valley or whatever you call this. But yeah, I really do need to hurry up and build this engine. It's actually almost a year since I got these 305s, and I just can't do anything. Like, I just don't have the money, and then, you know, random expenses come up, and then, you know, I just having a hard time doing it. Well, if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe. The end.